Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computer Studio now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next hour or so, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
I feel tuned in.
Mm,
Are you?
I'm tuned in. Yes, I adjusted the radio dial and I feel tuned
Okay.
in.
Nick and Gail are out of town, out of country, but they said they may join. We'll see. Our number is 561-518-9773. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Like I said, I hope everybody got what they wanted and returned what they didn't want already.
Believe it or not, I gave something to Pam that she's been wanting for a long time, and she was very happy. And she gave to me, I already knew what I was getting, but it's going to sound bizarre. I got heated gloves.
Well, that's not
Oh,
no bizarre about it.
I have bad circulation in my hands, right? If it's really cold outside, my my fingers start to crack, and it's just terrible. But these things are incredible. They're they're kind of like thick ski gloves, gauntlet gloves, and they have in the wrist there's a battery pack, USB-C chargeable battery pack, and then there's a button on the back of each glove that you press to put it different degrees of intensity. And I haven't worn them outside. Obviously, it hasn't been that cold, but I did try them, and it was great.
wow, that sounds
Yeah,
actually really nice. Maybe I need to get me a pair.
yeah. And it's the company that makes the stuff for Costco. Um, I don't know that they sell anything else. They may sell it for all I know, but they're the one, they got it through Costco, and it was the best price I could find for something like this.
I
That
got
was that
an
quality.
That's nice. I got an air fryer, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
those are
fry the
great.
yeah, I'm gonna fry the hell out of some air. So
Well, do you have to get a weekly delivery of friable air?
yeah, I get the bougie kind of air that's from the Himalayas.
Along with the Himalayan red salt,
Yeah, exactly.
pink salt. Yeah, that's it. We're on our second one. The first one didn't break. We just got a better one and gave the other one to one of our daughters.
Oh,
And
what
they're
what
great.
what brand or
I don't know. It's but we've air fryer stuff now that we just would never have thought to do. I have those packages of small individual frozen pizzas.
yeah.
I do that in there.
Oh,
And
see,
yeah,
that's what turned me on to it because I was staying with my friend and we had leftover pizza and she put her pizza in the air fryer and I'm like, "Why are you gonna fry the pizza?" And she goes, "No, you can reheat it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So we did that and the pizza was amazing. I was like, "Holy crap." So now I'm like, "Do I need an air fryer just
and
to
you
reheat
can't
pizza?"
nothing like microwaving it and even better than putting it in the oven.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to reheat some pizza.
She cooks fish, she cooks all kinds of vegetables in it. She'll make up a big, if it's a big tray of vegetables, it goes in the oven. But if she wants a smaller, like for example, she gets cubed a sweet potato and she puts a glaze on them and she puts them in the air fryer. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Wow, well, I might have
Yeah.
to reach out for some tips.
Yeah. Well, she definitely has been using it now for years. So yeah,
That's
that'd be good.
awesome.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Spence, let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you changed batteries in cars? Any of the
Car,
cars? Yeah.
mm, less than a
Where
year ago,
where do you get them?
I there's Costco's pretty good, but I found that BJ's has a really good selection. And they don't get Costco has AGM batteries, and they tend to be really expensive. They
Mhm.
do have both um, regular lead acid and AGMs, but the I bought a battery. I thought it was right for the pickup truck, and it was not the right one, and I had to take it back to Costco. It's not their fault. It's that I didn't have the right configuration, but
Hmm.
I wound up getting that battery at BJ's.
I need to look
Walmart
into.
also has
Yeah,
decent prices on
that's what I
battery.
was
Yeah,
I was looking. I mean, this
yeah,
is not for a car. This is for the generators.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
I did have a weird situation with the Jeep. I went in and I started about every week or two, and I'm stepping on it. Nothing is happening. Not even a sound. So I go and check the batteries, and one of them is fully charged and really nice with a load tester. The other one is completely dead.
Mm.
And I thought that was one that I got over at Advanced, but as it turned out, that's the one I got it over at Walmart. One of their value batteries, $79, and it was the right one for the Jeep. So I I put a charger on it, and it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't. I mean, one of the smart charger would not do anything. So I put the big charger on it, and it did. It did take it. Then I put the other charger on it, and it saw it. And it's like this with those smart ones. If they're completely dead, the smart chargers will not even sense that there's a battery there. So you have
I
to,
have I have a charger called NoCo
yeah.
brand, and they have a whole line of from 1 amp up to shop type.
Mhm.
But they have a mode for getting a completely dead battery to charge. Because they usually have to detect some voltage,
Right.
and you can put it into this recovery mode, and it will pulse the battery to try to get something out of it and then charge it. I'm
Yeah.
going to
Well,
see how. I'm sorry.
no, that's what you need to do. I mean, the pulsing is more for desulfation.
Yeah.
But
Well, this is part of it. These are maintainer chargers.
yeah,
The smaller ones, 1 amp, 2 amp ones, are
right.
great for small batteries or ones you're going to just leave it plugged in. And I have a lithium battery in one of my motorcycles, which worked fabulous. It's a 5-year guarantee, which is great. It worked for almost 3 years, and I went out there recently, and I had driven it recently, and I went back. It was completely dead.
Yeah.
And will not even respond to the charger that's made by the same company as the battery. So I'm going to see how the warranty process works there.
Yeah. Well,
But
I left the charger on it for about half an hour and went to check it again. And I didn't disconnect the charger. I just left it on and turned it off. This is a shop charger that has the
yeah,
dials that and I'm
you
looking and
plug it, you
saying,
plug it in the house, the lights in the house, Jim.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the load tester, and it looks like the polarity changed. It's backwards. I'm saying,
Huh?
oh, did I put the charger the wrong way? So I went and looked, and no, I put it right. So what is going on? I mean, it went completely to the left instead of climbing to 12 volts. It went all the way, like you connect the battery backwards on a tester. You change you don't put the right connector on the right pole. I say, what in the world is going on? So I put the small charger on it, and again, it doesn't see it. So I start the other charger again, and I stepped on the starter, and it went, uh. So I turned it off, and then went again to look how much is on it. I connected the load tester backwards, so it will show voltage. And yeah, it said that it was weak. So I turned it back, and I put the little charger on it and left it on for about 2 hours. And it corrected itself.
Hmm.
It's the weirdest thing. And I said, okay, I need to get a new battery. But after about 2 hours with the shop charger, it was fully charged. And that was like on last Wednesday. And it's still good. I can't take it back because it's fine now.
Oh,
But I realize I need to change a battery in the generator, the big generator that I just got. One of them is bad, and I want to put batteries in the spare one that didn't have batteries in it for some time. And Walmart, I mean, if I normally get my batteries from Interstate, the blemished. They're like some they can't put them in the stores, and they are
it's got a gunshot hole through it.
no. So they're $65, and they have 6 months warranty. Some of them are good. Some of them would last only 2, 3, 4 years, and that's it.
I for that price,
Okay,
you know,
but
yeah.
for the generators, it's Group 65, which is a pretty big battery. So I found the battery that I got for the Jeep, the 51, and it's a smaller battery. It's really narrow because it's right between the cowl and the firewall. They have the same battery, the 65, for $79. Most of their, what do they call it? Something Start,
Everstart.
Most of them are $79. And I'm saying, okay, and they have a year warranty on the value. There's the same battery that's good. I mean, value, good, better, best. The better is about 109 or something like I can't remember, and it's 2 years. And I'm saying, well, I'm just going to come start getting my batteries at Walmart.
I for a long time that's where I bought them because you could
Yeah,
up until the end of the free swap period,
yeah,
you could just walk in with the battery, say,
yeah.
I want another one. And I don't think they do that like they did because what people would do
They,
is they'd get to the day before the warranty expired and say, I need a new battery. And they get a new battery.
no, they said that they will check it, and if they
Yeah,
find,
now they check
yeah,
it, but in the
yeah,
beginning they didn't.
yeah,
They would just take your word for it and people would just get a new battery.
no,
Oh,
sheesh.
oh well.
Yeah,
So
but
thank you for joining us on Cars 2K,
Yeah. Car talk.
Car Talk 2K.
Yep.
I have a couple of things that I've been working on that have made me realize how I need to keep my act together as far as recovery goes. Does anybody use BitLocker on Windows 11?
Is Bitlocker that thing for Bitcoin stuff?
It's a little slot on the side of the machine you put the Bitcoin in.
Yeah.
No, it's a BitLocker is the encryption scheme that they use to protect your hard drive.
Yeah, they had
Oh.
that on Windows 10 too, but
Yeah, they
everybody
had it on
was
Windows. They had it on
yeah,
Windows 7.
right.
But the bad part about it is if you, in some cases it turns it on and you don't even know it's on. That's number one. Check to see if it's on because if it's on, you need to have a recovery method in case something happens. Like
Right.
if you have to take the hard drive out and move it somewhere else, you have to have the recovery key. And there's a way to go in BitLocker and say, print a copy of the recovery key. And it's a long string of characters. If you don't have that, you're toast. You can't use it. Plus, you need to know how to turn BitLocker off. If you're going to clone the drive to another drive, you have to turn BitLocker off. It's not going to work. And then you can turn it back on again. So if you find out, check your Windows 11 machine. Make sure that you find out if BitLocker's on. If it is, look up just the things you need to do to safeguard not losing your data. if you're say you have a backup drive, a USB backup drive, external, you don't have to worry about BitLocker because it's going to read the encryption and then put it in the clear to go out through the USB port. It's not going to send it as an encrypted um,
Image.
file, for
Yeah.
example, to save. You can do that. You can. There are drives. I have I got a Seagate drive or something that has built-in encryption in the USB drive itself. It has its own encryption, so it will protect it. But it's a good thing to, if you're wondering about it, and read about it a little bit and find out what you need to do. Also, if you use Apple products and you have an iCloud account, which you typically have on your iPhone, it's there for you. I don't remember what the free amount of storage is, but
I
that
think it's like
also
2
has an
gigs.
encryption key. So that has you
Okay,
can print
Spence.
out the encryption key for that.
Spence, in one sentence, short sentence, where do you check for
Oh, just
BitLocker?
go into settings on Windows 11 and go into BitLocker.
Okay,
And then go in and you'll
just so
find out,
people
it'll
know where
say
to go. All right.
if it's not on, it'll say, do you want to turn it on?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Um.
prior to Windows 11, I think they weren't just by default turning it on.
Yeah. I
That's
think I
my
was reading something that in Windows 11 they said that they're going to turn it on by default, and
yes.
it's ridiculous.
And they should have a giant whole screen message flashing, telling you this.
Yeah.
This is to increase the dependency on Microsoft, because if you're locked into BitLocker, that's the way their cloud works, is using BitLocker. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing I do.
They can
I just,
remind. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say the first thing I do if I'm installing a machine, I don't do a lot, is to just turn off the Microsoft Cloud, just to read it. It's getting harder and harder to do now, Windows 11.
Microsoft can warn you about all kind of things to the point of stop it already, but they can't remind you to do this because a lot of, I mean, hey, did you create a recovery disk? Here's a link. Just click on it. Create a recovery. No. All right. PayPal has applied to become a U.S. bank by forming a Utah chartered industrial loan company.
Industrial.
Yeah. Signaling a push to deepen its financial services as companies rush to capitalize on a friendly regulatory environment under the Trump administration. So they are trying to become a bank. They should. I mean, they've been in business for a long time. Good and bad comments about how their um, policies are, as far as if somebody is complaining about what you sold them, they will right away freeze your funds and make sure that there's money there to refund the person if they find out that something is wrong. But I think that's the only complaint I ever heard about them. But
I've used PayPal for years and I haven't had a problem.
the what?
I said I've used PayPal for years and I haven't had a problem.
Yeah.
I've used it a lot too. Or casual purchases online when you don't want to set up an account with someplace that you can't
Yep.
You can,
buy
yep.
through an Amazon or something else.
I use it
Yep.
for my business when I had to
Yeah.
send invoices to people. It makes it very easy.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's well done.
Well, I mean, after years, they tweak and tweak and tweak, and it's yeah. Couple of weeks ago, the Trump administration announced the United States TechForce.
Like Space Force.
Yeah, a new program to recruit around 1,000 technologists for 2-year government stints starting as soon as March. Less than a year after dismantling several federal technology teams and driving thousands of tech workers out of their jobs. The program will primarily recruit early career software engineers and data scientists, paying between 150 and 200,000 annually.
I see now. So they got rid of all of the people that were costing them a buttload of money, and they're hiring kids right out of
Well,
school.
yeah. About 20 companies have signed on to participate, including Palantir, Meta, Oracle, and XAI. Some engineering managers will be allowed to take leaves of absence from their private sector employers to join the program without divesting their stock holdings. So this is strictly for the government. I mean, you're going to be a government employee. A
I,
1,000 is not a lot of them, but I guess,
no, but it's a start, and they can figure it out
yeah,
what to do.
yep,
I think having worked in the private sector my whole career, looking at public sector positions is we've always seen it for those of us in the private sector look at it because we could at any time, okay, we don't need you anymore. Here, give us your
right,
EID card and walk you out the door, right?
yeah, if you're
So
lucky,
that gives you a whole different perspective on keeping your job.
yeah,
Whereas in public sector jobs that are union controlled, not that unions were necessary at one time, but not necessarily in for white collar jobs. But the you need to have that urgency in your career that I need to keep up or I'm not going to keep my job. I mean, that's just part of the workforce. If you're paying people to do nothing, and that's what they found in the federal government, there are agencies that were just so bloated. What do you do? Why? That's why people were upset. Well, tell us the things you did this week. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? You don't keep track of what you do this week? I had to report in on a regular basis. What are you working on? What's the progress on this? So I think that it's a good thing that the bloat is gone, but maybe this is a way now that they can start to encourage technology from a different perspective and a different. You're telling these people you can come into government for 2 years and work with us, but you'll still have your private sector job to go back to, which is a great thing.
well, yeah.
Wait, so what is private sector?
Private sector is anything that's in the regular job market because it's private companies that are hiring you. Public sector is government, education.
Okay.
These are not funded the same way, and they sometimes are not for profits and things. I'm not sure what you would call a not for profit. That's probably a category by itself. But it private sector is where it's it's owned by not owned by a government agency, put it that way,
Yeah.
Okay.
or a some type of like a something of
It's a private company.
a
That's
private
it. It's a
company. Yeah,
private company.
private sector.
Yeah.
I was getting confused because my brain wants to think that private sector is government because it's a secret.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I was thinking. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I I know lots of people who have spent their careers either working for a police department, fire department, FAA, things like that, that have very good job records and did great contributions. But at the same time, in an environment like that, sometimes you're sheltering or not having the accountability that should be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
And Eleanor says private or public company. I mean, even a public company that has stock out there is still considered the private job market
Right.
because it's not connected to a government
Even
agency.
they're publicly traded.
Publicly traded, or
Yeah.
I mean, a private company is just one that they don't have any public stock, or they don't have stock. They're just like I was a company of one. So,
All right.
but
After more than 2 decades of promises and false starts in the mesh networking space, The smart home standards that Apple, Amazon, and Google have each championed are finally set to escape their respective brand silos and work together in a single unified network. Starting January 1st, Thread 1.4 becomes the Thread group's only certified standard, bringing a crucial new capability called credential sharing. Devices from different manufacturers can now securely join the same mesh network. An Amazon Echo Show and an Apple HomePod Mini in the same house will both be able to control the same nanoleaf light bulb. This marks a significant departure from Thread 1.3, released in 2022, where each brand's mesh network connected only to devices from the same brand. Now, this is pretty good for the consumer. Not just because you can buy a different brand and uh, use it in the house, but also it will allow you to buy the stuff that reviewed to be better, maybe from the one that you thought was the best. So it's nice. Now, I don't understand. I mean, this is for smart home. This has nothing to do with routers. I mean, that's different kind of standard. This is for something that controls switches, controls, controls.
So
And
it's essentially it is opening up in the IP space and the telephone companies, the original System 7 switching, that's one of the seventh generation of switching between carriers was done completely outside of the regular internet. It was done on a proprietary level. Does this mean that they're going to try to all work together for the routing and switching of calls and data? Because I thought it was all pretty much the same standard.
it is, I mean, the same standard for communications.
Right. So this is just for hardware?
This
I'm
is
sorry.
this is
I was,
yeah, this is apparently just for hardware
okay.
because
I got it.
it's for the smart home.
I was watching the chat and responding.
That's okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Um, European public institutions are quietly migrating away from American cloud providers and office software, driven less by policy ambitions in Brussels than by the mundane legal reality that GDPR mandated risk assessments keep flagging the U.S. Cloud Act as an unacceptable threat to citizen data. So, what we here did with China, for instance, the EU now is doing to us. Austria's Federal Ministry of Economy, Energy, and Tourism moved 1,200 employees to the open source platform Nextcloud in 4 months. Germany has already transitioned 24,000 of its 30,000 civil servants to LibreOffice, Nextcloud, and Thunderbird. LibreOffice, Nextcloud, and Thunderbird, I guess for email. The International Criminal Court in The Hague, whoopee, announced in November 2025 that it would replace Microsoft Office software after Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan was temporarily locked out of his Outlook account. competition economist Christina Cafaro estimates that 90% of Europe's digital infrastructure is now controlled by non European companies. Forrester predicts no European enterprise will fully abandon US hyperscalers in 2026, but these targeted migrations for sensitive government applications are already underway.
I mean, that makes sense.
Uh,
If I was a country, I wouldn't want other countries to have
controlling, yeah,
control over my stuff.
yeah, but you have to have an alternative that is going to
Yeah, in full
be,
structure.
yep,
Also, too, Amazon, it didn't their AWS system was like freaking out like a month ago,
yeah, right.
so it affected the world.
It did. It makes you wake up and say, oh, wow. But by switching to a source that is not as dependable, and I'm sure, I mean, Amazon is dependable. I mean, things like this happen every now and then. Microsoft is dependable. If you go with the source that has not proven to be dependable or that can serve the amount of data that those others do, you may have a lot worse wake up call. And you may find that you're having problems on daily basis. It will straighten out. But I'm sure these people, that make those decisions. I hope I'm not sure. I hope that they do their research to find out who they're switching to and how well that company is. Gaming. Samsung is breaking new grounds with its 2026 lineup of gaming monitors with the Odyssey 3D G90XH becoming the first to feature a 6K display.
Ooh. My eyes can't see that good.
Yeah,
With
we don't need that. That's just a hype thing.
wait, with glasses-free 3D. The new
No.
the new
That's going to be
monitor,
interesting.
yeah, the new
Does it
monitor.
require to inject something into your head?
No,
No.
the new monitor comes with a 32-inch IPS panel offering real-time eye tracking that adjusts depth and perspective based on your position, along with a speedy 165 hertz refresh rate that you can boost to 330 hertz with a dual mode feature that switches to 3K. A 6K 3D display isn't only notable upgrade coming to Samsung lineup. The company is launching the Odyssey G6 G60H, which it says is the world's first 1040 hertz gaming monitor. But it's a 27-inch monitor, and it supports and only supports this ultra fast refresh rate in HD, while native 1440p resolution still offers speeds up to a very fast 600 hertz. It's also compatible with AMD FreeSync Premium and NVIDIA G-Sync. 600 hertz?
Yeah, this monitor is not for me. I'll get motion sickness, and I
Uh,
already have
Yeah,
bad eyesight.
that's what I was
But
going to say. I don't think that's good for most people.
yeah,
no. But hopefully, it will make other things cheaper. Like if the next generation comes out, maybe people won't buy the older generation stuff. And I'm like, great, I'll get a regular monitor that is slightly fancy for cheaper.
could be. Or it should, yeah. We'll have to wait and see, right?
Yeah.
1,040 hertz. Jeez.
I mean, I don't know who. I mean, I think somebody's buying that for the clout and for like the coolness factor, but I don't know if people can actually
I mean,
perceive a difference between all of that.
I think the monitor I'm using here is 120 hertz. I don't think I mean, I don't need anything more than that.
I wonder if they've done any health studies on that speed and what that could do to people.
There was no mention.
I know well, they may be doing it. They may have to do it human factors testing, but I'm going to look that up. I'm going to see if there's anything about
It's just
what's
I,
that 600 what?
the model.
No, the speed that they're trying they can
They're
turn it up
doing
to.
330, 600, and 1,040.
Wow.
It's just amazing. Do you remember last week I was telling you about the problems I had with the power outage, and what I had to go through?
Yes.
I don't feel so bad anymore. The US government calculates the country's official time using more than a dozen atomic clocks at a federal facility northwest of Denver. But when a destructive windstorm knocks out power to the National Institute of Standards and Technology lab in Boulder on Wednesday, and a backup generator subsequently failed, time ever so slightly slows down. The lapse resulted in NIST UTC, the Universal Coordinated Time, being 4.8 microseconds slower than it should have been. NIST spokesperson Rebecca Jacobson said in an email. I mean, you mean that thing cannot be corrected? And because of that power outage? I mean, yeah, 4.8 microseconds. That's nothing that we can see, but this and that and the other and another one. And this is a problem. So to go and adjust the IP address on a router is no longer, it doesn't sound like it's so bad. So even the government is having problems with power. And that's amazing that the generator failed. But
So I looked up danger to the eyes of high refresh rates,
yeah,
and I didn't find much, but I did find an article in a gaming page that talked about how it's actually better for your eyes, but they're not talking
oh,
about 1,000. They're talking about can the human eye see 144 hertz? So apparently your eyes can't detect that, but it can be useful in that the motion delays and lags and things like that. It does that. That's good for you, supposedly for eye strain.
Well, I would see who wrote that article. Watch it
Yeah.
be Samsung.
And I need to see it because it just gives a first name here. William wrote this article. Oh, okay, William. Thank you for your expertise. How are you doing today? Are you still working at Burger King? Let's see if I can find out who this guy is. Oh boy,
oh, well,
it's you click on his name and it takes you to the main web page of the page itself. So it doesn't talk
yeah.
about
Now,
PDFs.
one source is
No, it isn't, and that's
no,
why I'm saying this is. Plus, this is not. It says it was from 2025, but
no,
I can say that I remember being annoying when playing games that were low refresh. The game where the actual software could provide faster, but you're limited by the hardware. So, and the other pages discussed about how is high refresh rates good for the life of your monitor? Will it affect how long your monitor lasts? So they have to have solved that issue too.
Yeah. Um, those brief freezes and audio hiccups that plague video calls are not benign nuisances, according to a new study published in Nature that found glitches during virtual interaction can meaningfully damage hiring prospects, reduce trust in healthcare providers, and even correlate with lower chance of being granted parole.
Hmm.
Um, and this have nothing to do with whether you are good with computers or not. This has to do with, in most cases, it has to do with the internet. Yes, some people, I mean, we always said, and obviously today it's much better than it used to be. In the early days of the streaming of the shows, the instruction was don't connect your laptop with Wi Fi if you are on video. Hardwire it because Wi Fi would lose packets here and there. While with a metered, I'm not meter, with the hardwired Ethernet, it,
Better chances, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I can see that. I mean, if you're if you're on a interview to get hired and suddenly you freeze, it's the other side right away sees it in a negative light.
It's interesting because what I having sold this type of solution for many years as
Mm-hmm.
on the technology side, we would always we would go in and do an analysis of a network before we would say how it would work well there. And we'd have to look at things like jitter. And because if you're in the middle of a video call and it's high resolution video call, the original iterations of video conferencing were done in specific segmented rooms. You didn't have it at the desktop. You had it in a room that had a dedicated line.
Right.
So you didn't have to deal with that. Plus the resolution, and I go back to try to remember what the actual resolution were. Not very high. You could get a pretty good video call with 32K, ISDN type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but it was very interesting how you had to go in and look at the people's network to the endpoint to say this is going to work well. If you were just internal company and it was not going to affect too much, it wasn't such a big deal. But um, now the Brady Bunch view is an issue because you're filling the screen with lots of different feeds all refreshing together.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
The more items and around, the more of a load.
Yep.
Yeah. But it can be a problem. Absolutely, it can be a problem.
Personally, I like all my phone calls to sound like auto tuner. When you go, jitter is incredible with voice, with sound. It's just it's pretty weird. Or to watch TV and you're watching a streaming channel and well, not even you're watching an over the air channel, and you start to get pixelization, and it's just it's you can't watch it. It's
No,
just
you can't.
you're trying to pick up, even if it's just temporary. You're trying to pick up what's going on. Terrible.
Yep.
They should invent something that has a cable coming into your house with all that stuff instead of over the air. What do you think, Amnon?
I
You think they'll ever come up with something like that?
I solved the problem in a different way. I went and got an old-fashioned TV antenna rotor and put the antenna that we have for the digital for the off the air. And if there's a station, I mean, first you get a lot more stations, but if something is not exactly right, okay, just move it a little bit left, a little bit to the right, and pixelation goes away.
I have
So
a fairly good antenna up in the attic,
yeah,
and um, we were having a lot of trouble with the CBS affiliates. There's one that's just too far away to the west, and then the one that we try to connect to is to the east. And if you are not spot on it,
right.
it's for
Yeah,
some reason there's actually, if people don't know about this, there's several good antenna guide and positioning websites out there. Just do a search on "help me set up my antenna," and you can get a an active map. It'll tell you what the signal strength is from the different antennas where you live. It's very useful. So it'd always see ABC, NBC. Oh, they're pretty good signal strength, but CBS would always be low, and they were closer. The antenna was closer, so it had to be something about there. They were just not transmitting high enough. So I finally got up to the attic and used the tool and changed the way it was positioned, and it's working pretty good now. We will occasionally get um, some pixelization during a recorded show, but
yeah. For the most part, that antenna is. I don't move it, and all the stations are coming up in okay. But sometimes with weather and things like that, it'll have some glitches and just moving it. I mean, I'm talking about moving it a hair. You don't need
yeah,
to move it
it
much.
does make a difference.
Yep.
I was going to try to get a second antenna and do an antenna combiner, and it turns out they're very expensive and they don't necessarily work. So,
Hmm.
but I was happy with shortening the cable. I had a big spool of cable for where the antenna came down to go into my office. And I wound up finding something a lot shorter, and that helped. And just positioning it better and moving some stuff around my attic. It's not it's up in the rafters above, but there are still other things that were in the way that I moved that helped.
Yeah. But no matter what I do, UNC does not come in.
Really, and
Yep.
I get that with just I can put a single metal rod antenna on a TV here, and I get it.
We don't. And I remember
Yeah.
John Hardy was here one day visiting, and he was a system
Broadcast
administrator
engineer.
engineer over
Yeah.
at UNC also. And I told him about this, and he went outside and he said, "Oh yeah, you have all those trees. I mean, we are over there, and
Yeah.
you are, and it's low. I mean, you'll never get it right. I mean, every now and then it comes in. I think it's skip, but it's not anything that you want to sit and watch.
You remember those cheap back in the day of a television that had an antenna on it?
Yeah,
Well, this was just a single rod about 24 inches long with a cord with a coax plug. I can plug that into a TV and I'll get UNC.
yeah. Well,
So it's
it's
just where I'm at. I mean, it's just the way.
yeah, you're closer.
Plus, people don't realize that when they put an antenna up, it has to be tuned because there are restrictions for signal strength. You can go and look at a TV station and you'll see a plot of the strength around that antenna, and it's
Mhm.
a weird, crazy shape
Yep,
because they have to tune it because there are things they would be wiping out if they didn't
right. I
actually
mean,
have it adjusted.
Spence is not talking about the way to tune your antenna.
No, this is
This
the
is the
broadcast antenna
broadcaster.
for the
Yeah,
TV station,
right.
and all the cell phones too
Yeah,
have to be tuned.
yeah.
Look now at cell phone towers, and you see what are all these antennas like? It's just how many different companies are broadcasting or using that antenna and what the frequencies are, it
Right.
has to be finely tuned.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
They should better, Amnon, if they just invent that, or they can bring that
That
cable into the
cable, yeah.
house and take care
Well,
of
there
it.
is. It's I think it in our area we have Spectrum.
They're working on it.
That's not a recommendation, period.
Does anybody remember C CATV? What cable was designed originally to fix? Community Access Television,
Yeah.
CATV,
Yeah.
was invented for communities that were low-lying
Right.
in valleys or low areas where they could not get a good shot at an antenna. So the community would go in and set up an antenna on the top of a hill and then give everybody cable access to get the channels. So it was not designed as a distribution method for streaming or HBO or anything like that. It was designed just to give people decent television reception,
Hmm.
community access.
Or you could put a tower
Yes.
in your backyard.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
would be cheaper to just have
Yeah.
like a repeater.
Yeah.
Which would, and a repeater would be over the air. But I mean, this was literally in communities where it was cheaper to actually put in a cable to each house.
Yeah. All right. The Texas Attorney General sued 5 major television manufacturers, accusing them of illegally collecting their users' data by secretly recording what they watch using automated content recognition ACR technology. The lawsuit targets Sony, Samsung, LG, and China-based companies Hisense and TCL Technology Group. Attorney General Ken Paxton office also highlighted serious concerns about the 2 Chinese companies being required to follow China's national security law, which would give the Chinese government access to U.S. consumers' data. Now, they're saying that they are recording. Well, they're not recording the shows that you're watching. They're recording what you're watching.
And it's a good reason to not buy a TV that's got a camera built in.
Absolutely.
And we may not even realize that there are motion sensors on a lot of TVs now.
And a lot of them now are going away from it because they found out that they cannot get the right data they're looking for, or that consumers stayed away from those sets that did all this.
Yep.
There was an article that said it. I think we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah. But remember, if you have Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, or TCL, there's a chance. And that's a good reason also to be off the air. Then they can't go anywhere. But off the air, most people that have it off the air, they also have Ethernet coming into it for Netflix, for this, and then this gives them the access to the net so they can do it.
Did you see the story about Google is finally going to allow you to change your Gmail address? Or
Yeah, I
create
just
new
saw it
aliases?
yesterday. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. And there is, I talked about it for years now. You can have a different email address, different email addresses.
Yes, aliases.
Well, it's not, it is an alias, but you don't need to set up anything.
Just make a new account.
You don't need to make a new account.
The article
There-
I was reading said that Google, it said you can create a new alias and still keep your old email
Yeah.
address.
Well, you
That's
see,
the issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing.
Yep.
Most,
And they're
I
gonna
mean,
roll
I
that
think
out.
all email providers. I guess I'm not sure. I know Delta Force does it. I know others that do it. If you have Spence at earthlink.com, .net, right? If you go and you register somewhere and they ask for a email address, you can put Spence hyphen ABC at earthlink.net, or use a plus instead of the minus. Instead of the hyphen, you put the plus. Some of them one way was some. That email will work perfectly, but it will come to your regular email
Email.
address, to the original email address, which they say will do the same thing.
So what was it again? Hyphen or what?
Or hyphen or a plus
Hyphen or
sign.
plus and then something after it.
The after it comes whatever you want to um, associate or identify that email from.
Yeah, it's like adding a note to it,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
So when I get emails from Costco, it's Amnon-Costco at deltaforce.net. Now, when you are replying, it's not going to do that. It's going to reply as only Spence, or just as Amnon at.
But that's okay because you don't
Yeah,
really care that they see that. It's
correct.
just for you. It's for your
Yeah.
own. Yeah.
So in the early days when there was a lot of selling of lists, that's why Ron put it in. It was nice because if I went and I registered at, I don't know, xyz.com, which I bought something from, in the next few days or weeks, I start getting emails to amnon-xyz.com, stuff that I never asked for. I said, oh, so they sold the list. And then you can go and you can block it. You say block Amnon-XYZ.
That's cool.
And so I don't know if that's what Google is talking about creating, because that gives you an unlimited number of emails. They're talking about another email address. So, and the reason why you save it, why they tell you that you can still retain the old one, you want to change it because the old one may be polluted. So, what good is it? I want completely new email address. So you can't do it. It still comes to the same address. We'll have to wait and see if you are actually creating a new account or you are creating just an alias that will go to your old one.
This is interesting because the article says that the support document on the rollout is in Hindi because they're testing it in India. That's the only place they're using it right now.
Oh,
So
we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. For now, it's vaporware.
Yep.
So we'll need to wait and see what if it comes here and it's broken. I'm reading the
it's
I'm-
AI slop.
I'm reading the chat, and I love what John put there. Say a broken clock is right twice a day. It's true.
But a sundial is never wrong
That's right. If you can read it.
if you can read it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work well at night. You have to use a flashlight at night.
Yep.
Oh boy.
All right.
Ah.
It's time. Anything else that you want to add? Anybody want to add? Katie?
Nope, I'm good.
No, just Happy New Year, everybody. I hope it's a good year. Hope we can.
Yep. Have a happy and safe New Year.
Yes. I don't know what we're doing on New Year's Eve. Usually we've become extremely low key. Used to be,
Yeah,
we had somebody would host New Year's Eve in the neighborhood, always, and big party. And now it's like with the last couple of years, I'd say at least half of the people are gone, don't live in the neighborhood anymore. And the rest of us are like yawning at 10 o'clock. So
Yeah, years ago we used to go out and go somewhere,
Yeah. Yep.
but no, you try to stay home and stay safe.
Yeah. That's
Crazy
another good
people on the
reason.
road. You don't want to get into any kind of trouble. So yeah, it's 6 of
Right.
one, half dozen of the other. People make their own decisions, which is good. All right. So thanks, Spence. Thanks, Katie. Again, have a happy new year. And Nick, stay warm and get better. And Gal is in Israel. He said it was going to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so he didn't know where he was going to be. So you too, stay safe. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change any same passwords wherever you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT in Charlotte, and it's also on YouTube. So just go to YouTube, search the Carolina Journal News Hour. And Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m., Nick hosts the Nick Craig Show at nickcraig.com. Just go to nickcraig.com and get all the information, download or schedule.
Well, let me say before folks leave, I just
Say it again.
stumbled across a story that people would like to see, I think,
Okay.
about how Interpol is making great progress against ransomware. And they're actually decrypting it and helping people recover
To recover.
and arresting the people that started it.
Yeah, good.
It's out. I put a post up on the.
Still be
yeah.
careful. Still be
still be careful. I'm not
Yeah.
saying not to be, but
Yeah.
at least they're actually going out and finding these people
Yeah.
now, arresting them.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.